Welcome to another episode of Preparing for the Unexpected. I'm your host, Alex Fullick, and as always, we like to talk about things related to business continuity, resilience, COVID, well-being, crisis management, anything that helps you, your organization, or your community prepare for, respond to, and overcome adverse situations. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please feel free. You can reach out and find me on LinkedIn. I'm the only Alex Fullick there. I'm really easy to find. If you're looking at the screen right now, you'll recognize my guest. Returning for his fifth appearance, I'd like to welcome back Daman Sood. Daman, welcome back.
Thanks, Alex. Happy to be here.
And we're going to talk about operational resilience today.
Right.
Now, I know you've got some slides you want to show. Let me just make sure. Yeah, you have permissions. Feel free.
Great. Do you want to start with the question? And I keep sharing my slides in between?
Sure. Well, the first thing I was going to ask you is, can you define operational resilience?
The basic one.
But not always easy to answer, apparently.
Right. And there are a couple of definitions, Alex. I would like to pick up two.
Okay.
And I'll tell you the reason behind that. First, let's do the check. Yes, you can see it, right?
Yep, there we go.
So the first one I'll pick up is from BCBS, Basel Committee for Banking Supervision. And they define this operational resilience as the ability of a bank to deliver critical operations through disruption. I like it because it's very short, just one sentence, easy and simple. Ability of a bank to deliver critical operations through disruptions. First point is critical operations. I like this. Immediately, this brings me memories of VCM. VCM is not BAU. It's only the critical ones. We can give different names, prioritize processes, critical processes, mission critical processes. So even operational resilience is expecting the same. That's good news for us, I believe. At the same time, I will say, because it's by BCBS, they work for BFSI sector. They have written a bank. Just replace bank with organization. The ability of an organization to deliver critical operations through disruption. This definition is valid for all organizations. Okay.
Yeah,
Second one is from
definition, that one.
Thanks. Second one is from Gartner. Bit long, I'll read it slow. They define this as initiatives that expand business continuity management programs to focus on the impacts, connected risk appetite, and tolerance levels for disruption of product or service delivery to internal and external stakeholders. This is by Gartner. And again, if we look at few places, this one is clear. Business continuity management. So I'll start now saying this, and perhaps during our discussion, I'll repeat this a couple of times, that the need is operational resilience, but the means we will meet it through business continuity management. So it's not a competition between operational resilience and BCM. They are not enemies, they are friends. Both need to go hand in hand. They are complementary to each other. This is how we can put. So with respect to what, this is what, according to me, we will find many definitions, but first one, very easy, simple. Second one, talking a little more.
So the next question I have for you then is, what makes up operational resilience?
Very good.
Or components of operational resilience.
Very good. Thanks, Alex, once again. I'll say this with the help of a slide again. To understand the components, we'll have to look at this one. This is the full picture according to me. We start from the left. Risk management. We need to implement risk management. And many organizations will raise hand, Daman, this is decades old story. Moving to enterprise risk management, which in many organizations is known as integrated risk management these days, and reaching to the point of governance, risk, and compliance. And once again, people will say, Daman, we have been doing this for decades. That's good. But no one is perfect in this world. So keep doing this, please. We cannot forget risk, enterprise risk, GRC, etc. With the help of that, reach a stage of business continuity management. And this is second time I'm repeating. Need is operational resilience, but it will be met through business continuity management. Moving to operational resilience, to operational excellence, and ultimately we want to be a resilient organization. So the end point will be organizational resilience. And we will have to keep in mind that no one is a zero on the resilience, and no one can ever be 100% resilient. It's a journey of transformation, and that's why I attempt to show in this diagram, moving from left to right. These are the components of operational resilience, according to me.
So what are some of the challenges? Because there's obviously a lot of different components there, which means a lot of different people, a lot of different thinking. And I know you showed us definitions, so there's a lot of probably interpretations of what operational resilience is. So what are the challenges then bringing all that together?
Alex, before going to challenges, I would like to talk a little more about operational resilience.
Sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Great. But do not forget, because that's a very important question. We must answer that as well. So Basel Committee for Banking Supervision also says operational resilience is an outcome that benefits from the effective management of operational risk. So if we manage risks effectively, our operations will be resilient. Very simple once again, and that's why I'm showing this. Having understood that, I would like to share some examples of operational risks.
That's exactly the question I was just going to ask you.
Thank you very much. I'm a mind reader, right? Being with you fifth time, I know what's going in your mind. Thanks. So cyber attack, which during last 2 years specifically, while a lot work from home happened because of COVID-19 pandemic, has increased also. It can happen to anyone, and that's one of the operational risks. We can make mistakes. We are human beings and we can make mistakes. All those would fall into the category of operational risk. Regulations are not risk, but if I miss to follow a regulation, if I fail to comply with a regulation, that could become a risk for me. So I list regulations also in the list. Outsourcing is good. There are benefits of outsourcing, but it comes with its own challenges also. I lose control. My dependencies increase on someone else. And truly speaking, these dependencies today, we say supply chain. Supply chains are very long, very deep, and very complex. So actually risks are increasing because of that. So we need to be capable of managing. During these 2 years of COVID-19 pandemic, extended period of COVID-19 pandemic, another term started in the world, it used to be the Great Recession. It's not a recession, the Great Resignation. So it could be a challenge for some companies, talent retention. It was always, but perhaps in these last couple of years, it has increased. And we are highly dependent, all businesses are highly dependent on IT. So any type of IT failure becomes a risk, and all these fall into this category of operational risks. We also are creating a lot of data. Questionably, whether that is usable or not, useless, useful, but huge data per second is being generated in the world. But then organizations are attempting to use it by analyzing, they either attempt to target the right market for their products and services, or they attempt to bring new products and services based on the analysis of the huge amount of data that they have created. So if this data gets corrupted, this is a big challenge today for organizations. Cyber frauds have been happening, can happen. There is a saying that the only constant in the world, in the life, is change. So change is good. But just like that outsourcing, there are some challenges with change. Some clients told me, some means I would say maybe 2 out of 50 clients, 50 BCM implementation that I might have done, or 3 out of 50 would have said this: Daman, finish fast, whether we are starting in January or whether we are starting in September, October. Deadline is December. Because we change every year. In January, the management may change, will change, and then their focus may be different and they may forget BCM program. So you need to finish fast. So change is good, but if it's happening that fast, maybe there are some implications of that, especially if you look at programs like this. Someone is telling me, Daman, whether you start in January or you start in September, but end date is December before the management changes once again in my company. And the last one I'm listing here is work processes. This is surprising, Alex. In BCM implementations, while topic today is operational resilience, but we cannot forget BCM. So example once comes up again from BCM. One of the points after a few days, I would say now we are reaching the business impact analysis stage. So when we start conducting VIA, please come along with the list of your processes. That's the starting point, because VIA needs to be conducted for all the processes in your organization. Daman, we do not know our processes. That's a big challenge. But that's your business challenge. That's not BCM challenge. You must have. And there are businesses have been running successfully, but and they do not understand because they have been running successfully. So perhaps you could be doing much better if you had your written down processes. Second challenge. But Daman, we do not know all our processes. Again, you need to know. But that's their business challenge. Third, we have all. Great. Over the year, what might have happened that if I'm the person who has been using that process, who has been executing that process, some improvements have been done. Practice, I have changed a little bit way of working, but I have not updated the process document. So once again, there will be risks like that related with the processes. So quickly, I was showing these. Looking at this, then it appears that it covers all types of risks. What is left then? And I wouldn't mind. To me, a risk is a risk. Please keep it simple for me, whether operational risk or enterprise risk or integrated risk. We are talking of, and we are dealing with the risks. I would like to narrate some cases also, Alex. And if you do not mind, now let's play the role also. So I am presenting a case to you. And if you do not mind, please attempt to solve the case for me. So once again, perhaps we are doing this discussion in a different way. So Alec is a life insurance company where there's a person called John, and he is a data entry operator, which means his job is to pick up the paper form and transform it into computer data. So while doing this, while creating a new application record, he entered applicants per month salary as 1 million, instead of 100,000 that the applicant had mentioned in the application form. So tell me, please, what are the possible implications of this situation?
Well, somebody's going to get paid a lot. You may have some banking, your bank giving you a call saying, "Hey, what's going on?"
Okay, yes, possible.
Hitting your bottom line, and all of a sudden that could cause you, for existing payments that may be already in process, all of a sudden can't be covered because extra money has been pulled out, than what was expected.
I like that. Okay. And for the company, actually, perhaps they would have rejected the application, Daman, you cannot get this insurance because your salary is less while you're looking at a huge life cover. But that policy would get issued. Mistake. It's a human mistake, and this is an operational risk case. Just because of one digit, 10. All right. Next case. What does it look like?
Well, that's a I'm forgetting my accounting. Balance sheet.
You're right. It's a balance sheet. Someone is writing his or her accounts, right? Now I'm just going to open the case to you. It's clear who is maintaining manual records. So this is not from the bank. It's not printed from the bank. It is clear maintaining her accounts manually, and she should have a saving of 120,000. It's clear to us not next income, net income should be 120,000. But she received a message from the bank that the amount in her account was only 100,000. So what do you think of this? After challenging, Claire found it out. It was her mistake because she was maintaining the records manually. She used to donate 20,000 every year in this month to some charity, and she forgot to write that. So bank was right, but within her records there was a mismatch or discrepancy in the reconciliation, and this would also be a human mistake. Simple. I am doing it and I have made a mistake, due to which I could have gone to the bank. What's wrong? You have eaten up my $20,000 or pounds or rupees. All right. But it's a case of human error and its operational risk. The third case I am putting up is about Alistair, who is working with Alec, John's company. Tony has seen him behaving inappropriately with a female colleague. He also observed that the female colleague was not comfortable and had attempted opposing Alistair. But he does not report. So Tony knows Alistair is making some mistake, inappropriate behavior with a female colleague, but he does not report or escalate. So the question comes, why not? Would you like to opine upon this also?
Well, there's so many reasons.
Yes,
one could be that Tony reports to Alistair, so doesn't want to say anything because Alistair is his boss. It could be that there is no training or mechanism to report to. So there's nothing there to actually do it. Yeah. Well, those are the three that just popped up were the three that first came to mind.
Yes. And the fourth one, do you think that's valid?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
We may have some people like that in the company, in the organization. None of my business. It's Alistair misbehaving with XYZ. Who am I? All right. And fourth point, which you have said, there are no means to do it. And this is how then, this is an example of operational risk. And in risk management, this is what I always say. First point is to identify, yes. But our job doesn't finish there by identification. We need to do the next step also, that we need to mitigate. And for that reason, when you said there is no mean, or there was no mean to do it, that what is my fear? My boss, my friend, right? I want to report, but my name should not come out. So this is how whistleblower policies came into picture in the organizations. That Daman, you can report and your name will not be disclosed. So this is how we manage that operational risk. So this is where I would like to stop with that question. But don't forget, you had asked a very important question, if you wish to repeat that.
Well, I guess that's the next piece. It just goes perfectly into this. What are some of the challenges with implementing operational resilience?
Okay, great. Once again, the biggest challenge is that nothing comes free in this world.
True.
Simple. Okay, so you'll say, okay, Daman, you're saying there'll be some investment, you need to spend some money. And Daman will say, then how much? Please tell me. What's in it for me? That big why that we struggle always with. Any organization will struggle with that. And I call them the drivers behind operational resilience. This diagram helps us to understand this or answer this big why question. There are 5, I would say, regulatory requirements, corporate governance, implications of non-compliance, gains through compliance, and our journey from operational excellence to organizational resilience. Please allow me a few more minutes quickly to touch upon each of these once again. So these are the drivers to implement operational resilience. First one, a regulatory requirement. We know at least a couple of examples, Bank of England and Central Bank of Ireland in the recent times, within the last year, have issued these policy or guidelines. So within BFSI sector in the UK and in Ireland, it is mandatory requirement, as simple as that. And when we say Bank of England's operational resilience policy, that means implementation will be within UK. First impression is right, but it's not right. It's just like GDPR. 3 years ago, when GDPR came into existence, because it was for EU, we thought, I'm including myself also. So I wouldn't say all, but many of us thought it was for organizations in the EU, GDPR of EU. Later on, we realized or understood that if anyone anywhere in the world has anything to do with anyone in EU, GDPR becomes applicable. Yeah. So my belief is, similarly, the Bank of England's operational resilience policy is not only for BFSI sector in the UK, but BFSI sector anywhere in the world doing anything with BFSI sector in the UK, it becomes applicable. So this is a regulatory requirement. We need to do it. It has been asked for. But there is a possibility that in my sector, it has not been asked, right? Or there is no regulator perhaps in my sector. That's a possibility. It still is good to be good. So it may be corporate governance angle that will force us to, or will ask us to, or will expect us to implement operational resilience. The third driver is non-compliance. It is said that if Bank of England's operational resilience policy is not implemented or not implemented rightly, the penalty could be to the tune of 250 million pounds. And then, there have been some cases of non-compliance, known cases where penalties have been put to the tune of, we see, from $180 million to $243 billion. Fourth driver. Third one was penalty for non-compliance. Take the other side. There are benefits of getting compliant. So it is estimated that it could be to the tune of $700 per person per year in large organizations, and it could be up to $2,000 per person per year in small organizations, which means if I spend $1 in compliance, I save up to 300% times because of compliance, which is great. I believe blindly we should implement, if not because of the regulatory requirement, if not because of corporate governance, if not because of penalties behind it. There are gains, direct gains of compliance. And the final one, I'm saying this journey from risk management to enterprise and integrated risk management to governance, risk and compliance, business continuity, operational resilience to operational excellence, and finally reaching organizational resilience. So if we want to implement, if we want to achieve organizational resilience, the way will be through operational resilience. So this is big why being answered here. This is how I'll explain this.
Can we move on to the next question?
Yes, please.
Because all of that stuff you just showed us, how do you go about validating that that's working? So how do you go about, what should resiliencies do? What should organizations do to validate that they're on the right path?
All right. This is a difficult one, Alex, because there are many components within that. Right? And I'll attempt to say it this way. Overall picture we are looking at resilience, right?
Mm-hmm.
How to validate the level of resiliency that we have achieved in our operations. Look at some components individually. We can look at the level of maturity in BCM that we have achieved. So BCM maturity can be judged based. There are self-assessments available. There are some other tools available. We could get third party to assess ourselves, or we could get certified to ISO 22301. So we can see the maturity or validity of one component of operational resilience or resilience. Similarly, our environment management system, we can get certified to 14001, or our information security management system, we can get certified to ISO 27001. But there are other components. If we talk of organizational resilience, which is the endpoint, there are about 20 boxes. There are 20 domains to be looked at. Each one of those may not have anything like ISO 22301 or ISO 14001 or ISO 27001. So there are some domains for which there is no management system yet, or there is no standard yet. So that's why it becomes a bit difficult. And then we are talking of many all. So what I've done is, time permitting, so I need your permission, I can do a quick demo. I have developed a very simple tool which will help us to answer this question to an extent.
Sure, go ahead.
All right, great. You're a very nice person. So I'm skipping some portion of the slides that I had prepared. And we'll come to this demo quickly.
Yeah, while you're looking for that, I just want to say it can't be an easy thing to try and validate operational resilience or organizational resilience, because you did mention those different standards and that some of them don't have a standard to follow. And you've a lot of times those examples that you gave at the beginning of your talk, sometimes those groups work in silos as well.
Yes, exactly.
So trying to bring that all together has got to be a big challenge.
So before we go to demo, when you have said this, that they work in silos, there's another question. CEO or CFO will definitely ask this question on any program. So they will ask this question on operational resilience also, and they will ask this question on organizational resilience also. The question is, just like the big why, the ROI, return on investment. Daman, you're asking me to invest some money, show me the return. And a very simple calculation is available, estimation is available, that if we align just two departments in an organization, sales and marketing, the savings could be to the tune of $1 trillion globally. Alignment of just two. Two were working in silo. We brought them close, in sync, aligned, saving to the tune of $1 trillion. So if we have 20 and we bring all, if we are able to bring those all in sync. So the example of monster truck, there are 20 big tires, big wheels. If all big wheels are aligned to the same goal, objective of the organization, the savings could be to the tune of $10 trillion. I believe that's why we should implement operational resilience and organizational resilience simply. But the trigger was your question, and you said they work in silos. Big challenge that we work, different departments in an organization work in silos. With your permission, shall I go to the demo?
Sure.
This is a tool to look at the assessment where do we stand? That validity. When we have spent some time, money, effort, we want to see the effectiveness also. Please tell me whether you are able to see the Excel sheet.
I can, yes.
Great. So as such, it's just Excel sheet based, very simple, I would say. Some notes have been given. Quickly, I'll explain. They're not 20. In organizational resilience, I teach they are 20. The monster truck called organization has 20 giant wheels. But when I started developing the tool, I ended up adding 4 more. So they are about 24. All right. And the discussion is behind your intent. You see at the top, intent, implementation, and effectiveness. So the tool talks about these 3 levels. Your intent, which is the starting point, most likely the policy. Policy is the intent. Then implementation, most likely the plan version, that now you have got plan also. You're taking some actions also, and reaching up to effectiveness also. We are spending time, money, effort. We need to see the effectiveness. So in this tool, quickly starting from asset management, we see BCM comes into picture. All those 20 boxes that we talk are covered. I'll just pick up to keep it easy, simple. BCM, many of us understand BCM. Easier. I'll take my own example. I do not understand asset management as much as I understand BCM. So I'm picking up that. The scale is 1 to 5 for each of these 3 levels: your intent, implementation, and effectiveness. So you have to score it yourself, or I can sit with you looking at your documents, your plans, arrangements, talking to you, maybe taking a site tour also. We'll be able to answer these questions. So if BCM program is not initiated, you will score 1. Actually 0, but in the tool, 0 is not possible. So you score 1 on your intent. If you say BCM framework is audited on a regular basis, so your intent is very solid. So you give yourself 5, which I'm giving 5 here.
But I'm assuming you have to have validated proof. You can't just say it, right?
Yes. So I'll see some evidence also. Yes. So, when we do self-assessment, I can say I'm good.
Yeah.
I can do that. No one can stop me. So I need to be reasonable. I need to be honest. These questions need to be answered honestly. So if I'm doing self, perhaps no evidence required. I just need to be honest. But if you start looking into me, then you will ask them and show me the evidence also. Yes. Similarly, 1 to 5 for implementation also. Look at 4, a full cycle implementation has been done. Then you score 4. And 5, BCM program plan document is available. In my audit experiences, Alex, what I've found is even after 10-15 years of certified journey, perhaps some portions of clause 4 itself are missing in the organizations. This document is rarely available. The BCM program management plan. It's a program, so there should be a program management plan, as simple as that. All that it shows me that it's not one-time activity you are doing, you have a long-term commitment. So I'm giving you 5 on your implementation also. And then we look at same 1 to 5 for effectiveness also. Quickly, if you look at number 4, if I have gone up to this journey that I'm able to show you continual improvement also, then you will say, Daman, your effectiveness also is being checked and you're doing well. So you score 4. But if you say it is certified also by third party, we know certification is not mandatory. But if I'm able to show you, we have got third party certification also, you will give me 5. So this is how for all 24 domains, we will have to do our own scoring. Little rule has been put up that if you score 4, for example, on your intent, then you cannot score 5 on your implementation. If you are 4 on implementation, you cannot be 5 on effectiveness. And that's what is happening here. Because your intent was 4, your effectiveness cannot be more than 4. The best that you will be able to score is 4. So little rule has been put, which is manual as of now. I have not built in any macros into this. What happens is, after you have done this, some graphs are drawn automatically. So this is a spiral graph, the scores given here, and we can see overall picture where we are good, where we are not so good. As simple as that. This is what it is telling us. So effectiveness or that validation is happening and is happening for all the 24 domains. Better than this, the second is more important, and I'll increase the size here. I have developed a color code here. So for example, on BCM, this company is scoring 13, which means it's green. So this is the scale given here. If your score is greater than 9, you are green. If it's between 6 and 9, you are amber. If 1 to 5, you are red, and some definition. Green, you are good. That doesn't mean that you leave it. You will have to continue with this. But your effort, your budget, your investment is same. But amber becomes your focus, which means you need to do a little more. Red definitely is an alarm. You need to start investing time, money, and effort into this. So this tree diagram or tree map helps you to draw your roadmap. So Daman, you have told me some assessment has been done, some validation has been done of my program, operational resilience or organizational resilience, but what's next for me? Where do I go from here? This helps you to draw up the roadmap. Red immediately needs to be worked upon. Ambers, you may like to increase your efforts and budget, and green, you need to continue with. You cannot reduce it, you cannot stop it. So this is how this tool, very simple, I believe will help us to draw that roadmap. Helps us to tell us where do we stand, and then where do we go and how do we go.
Just out of curiosity, you would, if you gave yourself a 5 and everything was green in one area, let's say business continuity management, because one of the items you mentioned was show continuous improvement over a span of time. Could there be the risk of an organization turning around and saying, oh, great, well, the green, we've got everything we need. We don't need to do anything further. And that green can slip down to an amber, right?
Yes, good observation. Yes, it is possible. And that's why in the tool I'm mentioning, green doesn't mean that you give up. Green means that you continue with the same rigor that you have in that program.
Right. Yeah, or you'll see your greens. It could give a false sense of, oh, we've done what we needed to do.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you see your greens turning to ambers and potentially reds.
Exactly. That's why this question was important. Overall picture, Daman, where do we stand? Some time gone, we have done some investment, some effort, some time. You have been working on this program for 6 months. Where do we stand?
Yeah.
So that question is very important. Yes.
Well, we're coming to the end of the show, but I'm sure you've got some final thoughts you want to share. I know you always do. So do you want to take a couple of minutes and give some final thoughts that you'd like to convey regarding operational resilience?
Alex. So this is how I'll put the final thoughts, final words. While many organizations may claim that they have decades-old journey of risk, governance, information security, and BCM, no one can ever be 100% resilient. I had said that earlier, so a repetition. And it's a journey of transformation. Yesterday was the best day to do it, to start that journey of transformation, and it's gone. Perhaps we have missed the bus. The next best day is today. Let's do it. Let's not wait for tomorrow. There could be a big disaster tomorrow. We don't know, because the world is full of uncertainties. A quick example is with respect to we the human beings. As we become old, about 40 plus, we are recommended to go for annual body checkup. Daman, you're 40 plus. Now annual body checkups are recommended. You may not feel something wrong with you yet, but when the checkup is done, based on those reports, the consultant, the medical consultant, the doctor may be able to see and advise you. Some changes in your lifestyle, maybe some medication, right? So similarly, in the resilience program, we need to look at this resilience OPD, I call it. OPD is in a hospital, we find the outpatients department. I can walk in. there's something wrong with me. And then, doctor, please do the checkup. Similarly, I recommend this resilience OPD, especially for large corporates, especially for those corporates that have about 5, 10, 15 years of journey on a risk, BCM, crisis. Some may say, Daman, even operational resilience or organizational resilience is old for us. Because the reason is, over time, inconsistencies creep into the system. Then once again, Alex, this is based on my experience, having gone across companies, countries. As an auditor specifically, I found these, that most organizations, most such organizations, especially for them, the journey has been long. They're in the mode of maintenance. So if I'm auditing you on BCM, for example, one of the natural questions is, do you have BIA? Can I see your BIA? And you show me BIA, good. But if I ask you, how do you conduct BIA? People are not able to answer this question. This is large certified corporates. Can you believe this? The reason is, someone did it. Daman, the internal consultant, or Alex, the external consultant, did it, and they have left either the organization or they have changed departments within the organization. Now we are maintaining. So they know how to maintain BIA, don't know, they have forgotten the art of conducting BIA. So this is a big challenge, and that means our resilience is going down. This is the final words that I will leave with. Go for this resilience OPD. Please, regular checkups are required, so that we find any gaps that might have been developed and we may not be even aware of them. That's what happens in the body. There's something wrong inside. I'm not able to see it myself, but a specialist is able to, based on some diagnosis that he or she runs. So as an expert like you, me, organizational resilience expert, may be able to look at the documents, the practices, the plans, the arrangements, the behavior of the people, and based on that, we may be able to make some comments or observations for improvement.
Yeah, just because you can't see it doesn't mean everything is perfect. Like a watermelon, you may see green, but inside it's all red when you start peeling it back, right?
I like that example.
Daman, thank you very much again for joining and sharing your time. I really like the assessment tool you were showing us there. And anybody can use something like that to just have a look and say, okay, well, how am I doing? How are we doing?
Right.
I like that. I hope a lot of people pay attention to that.
So just because you have said that, Alex, quickly, it's copyrighted along with my course. And currently I'm working to get, because as if it's just Excel sheet based, very simple, right? If I want to commercialize it, no one is going to buy this. So there needs to be a report. Someone give me a report. We want to see the report, at least 5, 10, 15 pages of report. So that's where we are attempting with a partner that will actually build a real system IT based tool, which will be much refined version than this. So yes, if people look forward to the report being generated from the tool, that will happen, yes, because we understand it's required.
And if anyone has any questions about that, they can contact you.
Thank you.
If they see something, yes, they can reach straight out to you.
Yes.
So, Daman, thank you once again for sharing your time and expertise. I really appreciate it. For your 5th time, so I'm sure there'll probably be a 6th.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it.
So thanks again. Have a great day. And everybody watching, stay prepared, everybody.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
If you like that video, thumbs up. If you didn't like that video, thumbs down. But leave me a message and let me know your thoughts. Of course, don't forget to subscribe. And in the meantime, stay prepared, everybody.